Hi there, I'm going to share what it feels like to tear your ACL. I'm going to be talking from personal experience. So, in essence, what it felt like for me is I twisted my knee in a very uncomfortable way, and I felt this snapping, popping sensation in my knee. Felt like there was a thick rubber band that just kind of snapped. And that's what it felt like for me. So let me share a little bit more of the story. And also, I've lived now for about 10, 15 years since snapping that ACL ligament without having surgery, which means I have not gotten it fixed, but I have lived and exercised and done everything without my ACL ligament there. So I want to share with you a little bit of my experience and how it happened, and then what it's like to live with not getting surgery when your ACL is torn. So what I was doing, I was just goofing off with some friends. I was a young teenager, and I was trying to do a one-arm cartwheel, which is fine, and I wasn't very good at it, but instead of shifting my weight onto my arm when I planted down, I tried to do more of like a side flip. I was like showing off for my friends and trying to make it look like a side flip. Anyway, my leg, my foot hit the ground and it twisted like, kind of like if you lift up your knee this way, lift up your foot and then just lift it up really quickly and you twist it that way. It went like that, hitting the ground, and it snapped. And I felt the snapping sensation followed by pain. And so, I'm like, ow, what'd they do? I'm like, this isn't good. So then I get up and I'm just like, ow, ow, ow. And I'm hopping on one, on my good leg, on my left leg, and just kind of trying not to put weight on my right leg. And, I'm like, oh, that's not good. I was able to walk on it, surprisingly. After a while, I was able to put a little bit of weight on it and just kind of wobble around, and ended up going home to rest because I wasn't sure what happened to my knee. But what happened was shortly after I got home, once I started to rest, maybe 15 minutes later, 20 minutes later, my knee started inflaming all around the knee. It was getting all puffy. So just like right on my knee, right above it and below it, that all just kind of got locked in this position, kind of like not a 90-degree angle, but kind of like this kind of angle with my knee. And it just, my knee just got kind of locked in this position where I couldn't really move it. It was just all inflamed, and it was stiff. I'm like, ooh, this isn't good. I didn't take it into the doctors. I don't know. I'm just I don't like going into the doctors very much, unless I have to. And I figured they might have to do surgery, and I wasn't sure if I wanted surgery. And also, I come from a pretty humble background, and I didn't want like huge medical expenses for our family. So I didn't go into the doctor and figured I would just see what happens. So my leg was kind of stuck like that. I couldn't like bend it this way or extend it. It was just kind of like locked in that position. Not very flexible at all for quite a long time. So I was using crutches to get weight off that leg, and I just let my leg kind of dangle at that angle. And then week after week, I started slowly getting back some of that flexibility in my leg, where, I'd wrench my knee back just a little bit, and then a week would go by, and then another week would go by, and then slowly I could bend my knee and extend it farther. And I'm pretty sure it took months. It was probably a good year or so before I could wrench my leg back, and then pull it back. Kind of like just grab grab my foot and wrench it back all the way. It probably took a good year or year and a half or so for my leg to get flexible enough that I could stretch it all the way without feeling like something might pop or break. Now I'm a fairly active person. I like doing lots of activities. Like I like going on running and jumping and working out at the gym. I don't do as many leg exercises, but I do upper body and then some leg exercises as well. And so I have lived for about 10, 15 years without getting my knee checked out. But it actually hasn't been a problem mostly. One thing I have noticed that is different about my right knee that snapped the ACL ligament and my left knee is that when it's cold outside, if I go outside with like shorts or light pants and it's really cold outside, after a few minutes, when I go back inside and get warmed up, I can feel my right knee aching. I'm not sure why that is. I'm not sure if it's because the torn ligament, scarred tissue's there and it's sensitive, or maybe the part of the knee that the ligament would be covering isn't there, and so there's not as much insulation against cold. So there's nerves there that maybe get cold. I'm not really sure, but I have noticed that my knee joint aches a little bit when it's cold outside. Outside of that, the other major thing I've been able to walk on it just fine. I've also been able to jump very high and use it normally. The only motion I have to be careful about really is any motion that twists my leg. Like for example, if I'm running straight and I were to plant on my right leg and have a lot of torque on that knee, that probably wouldn't be good. Since I don't have both ligaments to stabilize my knee, I could see that snapping my other ligament, and then I would have to get surgery. And I don't think I'd be able to, if I snapped the PCL, I don't think I'd be able to walk with just muscle and bone. Like I'd need some sort of ligament to hold my leg together. So as far as what I understand, there's the ACL. If you cross your fingers like this, the ACL is like the ligament on top, as far as I understand, and then the PCL is kind of the ligament on bottom. And I guess there's some sports players who tear their PCL and they're still able to get by without repairing their PCL. Anyway, your knee becomes less able to take pressure, like, stopping, planting your feet and moving in the other direction if you only have one of your ligaments. So anyway, that was my experience. I'd be interested to hear if you tore your ACL. I'd be interested if you want to just leave a comment. I'd be curious of what you're doing, like how it happened and what you're doing to treat your torn ACL. That would be interesting. So feel free to leave that in the comments below. I hope this video has been helpful for you. Surgery, looking back, if money was not an issue, it seems like surgery probably would have been better in that they could have reconnected my ACL ligament and then that could heal. And then I would have my PCL that was never torn and then my ACL that was torn but repaired. And so my knee would probably be more sturdy and I wouldn't have to take as good of care of it. But honestly, I haven't really felt any large amount of discomfort. If you look at my knees, I don't think you can tell really that one doesn't have the ACL. I think that's because the ligaments are under the kneecap, the patella. So anyway, I hope this video has been helpful and I wish you luck. Tearing your ACL is not fun, but hopefully this video helps give you some more options. Thanks. Bye-bye.